Let's start with the obvious. Finding a good product management position, it's not easy. But I'll tell you what, finding great candidates is not easy either. There are plenty of smart and driven product managers out there, but the process of interviewing PMs is challenging. So, how do you do it right? I hope that you are ready for a to the point, tactical, and as practical as it gets review webinar because this is review time. By the way, I'm Maria Cassis, founder and general manager of Product League, and we are helping you to become the best product manager you can be. Product League is a mentoring program for product managers by product managers in 30 countries around the globe, from Morocco to Canada, from China to Brazil, and everywhere in between. In this review webinar, 3 Product League mentors will review actual interview questions and processes and provide their feedback as well as specific tips on how to improve. So 3 mentors, 1 online stage, and so many questions from you, the audience. So please go ahead. We really want to support you. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and what is your question when it comes to interviewing product candidates done right. Let's make this webinar into our product party. And now let's meet our panelists for today. Our first panelist for today, Martín Lasarga de Maria from San Francisco, United States. Group Product Manager at PostClick and Product League Mentor. With experience in marketing, machine learning, content management, and artificial intelligence, Martín is a seasoned product leader passionate about solving real problems and adding value with cutting-edge technology solutions. Our first panelist for today, Martín. Hello.
Hello, Moria. Thank you for having me. So excited to be sharing this opportunity and sharing with the product community.
So happy to have you here with us today, Martin. We missed you, I have to say. It's been a while since you've been on our stage. So it's always great to have you back. And today we're going to discuss a super critical, I don't know how to say it in, louder than I already said. This is like so critical to all companies out there, to all product teams out there, to managers out there. So I'm just happy to have you here on board with us on stage and to learn from your experience. What do you say? Shall we have Amit joining us now? Let's do that. Are you ready to learn from Amit? Let's meet him. Amit Pandita from Bangalore, India, Associate Director at ConSwitch and Product League Mentor. Prior to his current position, Amit spent 5 years at India's leading e-commerce company, Flipkart, where he was heading the delivery experience for the end customers. He's a tech-turned-product professional who naturally transitioned from the how to the why. Hello. Amit.
Hi, Maria.
What's up?
I'm very excited to be here.
Very excited to have you here with us as well. Also, it's been a while since you've been on our stage, so it's always so great to have you back with us here. As I just shared with Martin, I think this is such an important topic for like everyone in our community of product managers out there. I'm convinced that you have many insights and things to share, so it's going to be awesome. And shall we have Vaibhav joining us now? Let's do that. And now, please shout out a big hello to Vaibhav Pruthi from Toronto, Canada, Principal Product Manager at Amazon and Product League Mentor. Vaibhav has over 12 years of proven track record across growth strategy and product management. His multifunctional experience in both B2B and B2C help him think expansively about broader and long-term strategy, influencing high-performing, successful, diverse, and happy teams. It's about happy teams today.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice to I mean, end of the day, we are hiring product managers who want to be happy and work with us so that we can build a great product. So thanks for having me, Maria. Very happy to be here.
The pleasure is mine. We missed you. We love having you on our stage. It's so great to have you back. And I know that you'll add a lot to this discussion. It's going to be meaningful. Shall we have Martin and Amit joining us?
Yep.
Let's do that. Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome back. Okay. Hello to everyone. Now, before we start, I know that we guys heard some echo, okay, while we introduce the mentors here. And as this is a live session, we need to do some QA and balance here live on stage. So we're going to do it together with the audience. I'll need your help, guys, in the audience. Please let me know if you hear some echo or you can actually hear us the right way, as it's probably supposed to be heard. Please let us know in the comments. Help us a little bit, be our helpers. And at the meantime, I want to remind everyone that this session is for you, the community, okay, for the audience. Whether you're a hiring manager looking for product managers to join your team, or you are an inspired product leader that is not associated with this task of hiring yet, but you want to make sure that you're building your skills the right way from scratch, from the start. So this is how we're going to do that today. And today we're going to review actual materials together. We are going to go over some interview questions from real companies, home assignments from real companies, processes from real companies, and we're going to hear these magnificent three mentors sharing their insights and tips and tricks about this subject. So we have two of our YouTubers here. Hada say, I hear fine, and Maja say everything is fine. Both, by the way, are product league mentees, and I am so excited to see you both here. Great seeing you ladies here. So this is fantastic. Thank you very much, Hadas and Maja. Okay, I think this is our action item. Okay, this is our call to action now to start. And we want to start with like setting the ground around this discussion of interview questions and processes. And we are going to do that with the very helpful help of the 10 commandments of interview questions and processes. Drum rolls, please, because we're going to share the 10 things that we want everyone in the audience to follow. Exactly right, Martin. Exactly right. To follow when it comes to interview questions and processes done right. And I'm going to start with one of my own. And my commandment is what goes around comes around. Now, here is something to remember. We can't tell ourselves that we bring the best talent by treating people in a way that will make them run away from us. Okay, this is pretty obvious. Okay, if we treat candidates in the right way, in the respectful way, if we inspire them, even when we say them no, okay, this is not going to be our career relationship here together. If we manage to do that, we make sure that in the long term, we bring the best candidates to work on our team and the company. So my thing for everyone to remember, my commandment is what goes around comes around. And Vaibhav, we're starting with you. What are your 3 commandments when it comes to interview processes and questions?
Yeah, I think you started with a strong note. So I'll skip my sequence. And so the number one that comes to my mind is like create an enjoyable candidate experience right from your first touch to your offer. And I think all companies should aspire to do that. The second commandment that I really think strongly about is that making sure that we are assessing candidates on customer backwards thinking and not forwards. Like we're not retrofitting products to customers, but customers building products for customers. The third commandment is for the interviewer to focus on trying to understand what are the candidate's individual accomplishments versus the larger org or team he or she represents. So those will be the top three list for me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Vaibhav. And Martin, you're next.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, and I want to compliment that. I agree 100% with everything that Vaibhav has actually shared. So to try to enumerate my top 3 and trying to give a little bit more of variety here too is like the ability to kind of evaluate the product sense, and the overall understanding of the candidate about products overall, like day-to-day products. It doesn't need to be something, that is related, to the software industry. It could be, like hardware, anything, where you actually can um, understand how your candidate is looking at the value that that product is actually providing to him. So I think that that's like very important. And at the same time, as you do that, um, I would say like how the candidate breaks down those problem statements in smaller pieces are going to be more digestible, for us in the interview to understand. That will be the first one. Um, then definitely like the second one, it's all about structure, right? And the overall um, understanding of how the candidate brings a framework, breaks down, a design question, and we can understand how he makes decisions, right? Um, yeah, how he prioritizes what's the most important to work next, how he does measure success after kind of providing, the right problem to work. So that will be kind of like the second one. And third, I would say that this is one of the most important too. So it's like the behavior, of the candidate. So how he actually um, had a contribution, based on his experience. I think that but have mentioned something about this, and basically at the same time, how does the candidate, react in those kind of like ambiguous situations that are very common and very frequent in the product space. So those would be my top three, complementing what was said before. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic three indeed. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Amit,
Had
we lost you.
great points. I think.
Oh, you are back. That's good.
Can, yeah. Can you hear me fine now?
Yes,
Is it
we can hear you
am I
now.
audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as mentioning, Martin had great points. I think most of them are my favorites. I would actually want to start with the second one where Martin was talking about the frameworks. I think my most favorite one is little opposite of it. I believe that the candidate should be, as a PM, extremely comfortable with ambiguity. What ambiguity brings to the table is for PMs to be kind of absolutely comfortable with let's say when you're innovating, when you're differentiating, you should absolutely be there to switch gears. You should ditch the framework, in my opinion. You should be absolutely comfortable with picking up just the problem and seeing, how do I experiment? How do I go outward? How do I look at consumers and how do I just build for them, right? So ditching the framework and just being comfortable with ambiguity in any state of the product management is something I firmly believe should be there for one essential quality of a PM. The second one is more to do with the problem solving. Uh, the second commandment again. For the problem to be solved, you really need to understand if the problem exists in the first place, right? Now, how that comes is when you really ask the right questions to your end consumers, and you keep kind of talking about it and making sure that you actually are attacking the right problem. And then it's absolutely essential for a PM to really make sure that you're picking up a problem that's worth solving. Uh, Unless you figure it out when you're actually just picked up, done an MVP, and again you are iterating, right? So for me, it's very, very essential to pick up a problem, make sure that it's a problem worth solving, and then sort of iterate around it. The third one is again something a lot of PMs typically think it's not really something they should do. It's more to do with product execution, or I call it execution excellence. Again, it's very, very critical at multiple stages of product lifecycle for someone who's a budding PM. If he picks up like a piece of the pie and build something, I believe the job of a PM is to sort of go above and beyond, make sure that if something is built out, it goes right out and it's shipped to the end consumer. And that kind of involves sometimes to sort of play the job of a project manager, someone who externally communicates, do the testing themselves, bunch of things that a PM does not do. And then all of this for the sake of getting things out, because again, I like to believe that it's again something that a PM has to own end to end. So for me, execution excellence kind of should come naturally to a product manager. And yeah, I think these are the ones that I firmly believe in. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love everything that you guys mentioned. Thank you very much, Amit, Martin, and Vaibhav. This was awesome, but we just started because we're about to start reviewing actual materials that were sent to us, and that we find out about from different companies. And the first thing that we are going to review is a process. Okay, I'm going to share it on the screen so we can see it all together. And what we're going to do is to review the process as itself. Now, it's about the process, it's about the elements that are in the process. Keep in mind, everyone in the audience, we're not going to discuss necessarily the right or possible answers. We want to make sure that the structure that hiring managers and product managers that are building their teams out there set the right process even before we get to think what are the answers that we want the interviewee to give us. Okay, so we are starting with this process. This is a real process from a real company, and they broke it down into 6 phases. The first is a phone screening call. Okay, it on their process it takes 30 minutes. It is with a recruiter. Okay, so it's not a hiring manager, it's not anyone from the product management team yet. Only when we get to the second step here, okay, we have the hiring manager doing their own phone screen for another 30 minutes from with that candidate. And then for those who pass these 2 steps, then we have number 3. We have a full day interview of 4 to 5 hours with 2 parts to it. One is a project, okay, that the interviewee, the candidate, receives before they get to this part of the process. They can work on it, but they have to present it, okay, live at either the office or in Zoom, whatever it is, to a group of potential colleagues. Then we have 3 to 6 one-on-one interviews with potential colleagues, each one of them responsible for testing a specific key PM skill. The next step is panel discussion of 30 to 60 minutes. This is something that is being done only within the group, within the company. Okay, the candidate is not taking an active part in that because the group is actually discussing this candidate, and each interviewer blinds votes a strong no or a yes or a strong no. So we have 4 ways, okay, for each interviewer to vote whether they want this person, this candidate on their team or not. And then they share the votes, they discuss it, and they make a decision. Next step is reference check, and then comes the offer. Okay, so this is a real process from a real company out there. I have to say, this is not bad at all, but still very consuming. Okay, and it's a little hard for both parties. Okay, for both the candidate and for the company. There is much of it that I love. I'm not sure about the rest, but this is exactly why we're here, to review it. So, fellow mentors, please let me know, what are your thoughts about this process? Go ahead.
Awesome. So I can start kind of sharing a little bit of my thoughts. So let's start with number 1, right? The recruiter's phone screen, 30 minutes. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's good enough time, to kind of assess, a candidate and be able to, based on what the hiring manager previously defined, like in the job description, to be able to do a first filter to talk to the hiring manager on a phone video screen, right? There's where I have maybe my first comments here. As I think here you can evaluate a trade-off, for example 30 minutes, it's a good time to actually maybe decide if a candidate's not the best fit for the position. But usually I found myself that I get excited sometimes, to talk with some candidates, and I spend between 30, 45 to even an hour, in that first hiring manager phone screen. So before I move forward and jump forward, I don't know you guys, how do you feel about that?
Uh,
Amit and
just
Vaibhav, yeah, go ahead. No, Amit, I was just calling you to the panel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just a quick kind of difference that I've seen in a couple of organizations I've worked with. There are often times when we're kind of really hiring for a bunch of product managers that the candidate might not always talk to the relevant hiring manager. So what ends up happening is that the hiring manager conversation kind of happens at the last. You end up sort of doing the step three, uh, speak to pretty much everyone, and then kind of once the bulk of candidates come on board is when you really get to speak to the hiring manager, and that's when you really kind of check the fitment and all. I think that's one difference that I've seen in a couple of companies that I've kind of worked in the past, but then typically kind of either happens at the start or at the last. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
Thank you, Amit.
Yeah, and
Vaibhav?
yeah, so I think from a process perspective, I mean, this is a pretty normative standard process that all organizations follow, and there's a purpose why we do this, right? So I'll really focus on the purpose and what do you want to drive out of these processes. So typically, I think if we think about a candidate and the organization both put together, the goal is for the candidate to figure out how he or she fits in the org, or how he or she works with the manager. Will he or she be happy? Does he or she see the career track that they're aspiring? At the same time, it's an opportunity for the company, i.e., recruiter and the hiring manager, to figure out, does that candidate really fit into their scheme of things. Now, if we go with that goal, it's a two-way street, and I think that's why these first two steps are defined and put in place to enable that conversation. And I think if we stick to that goal versus like a standard interview, which anyways happens going forward, these first two steps can be very powerful in emerging ideas and things about each other, and it should consider as a two-way street, as I just said earlier. So that's my take on these two processes.
I love the fact that
Last
you
point to that.
mentioned that
Yeah.
it can be, yeah, so powerful because I see oftentimes that people, hiring managers and recruiters, they treat these phases of the screening on phone just like something that you have to do, and you can't really get the vibe or the understanding of the candidate out of it. But actually, you can learn so much about the person,
Yeah.
from this time. And if you really take the time and you get yourself to the point when you have a real discussion, when you make somewhat of a connection, with that other person, as all product managers should know how to do, by the way. We can learn a lot even before we ask the candidate to take their time and work on the assignment,
and
on the
and I think
project.
and I have another opinion. Sorry, I'm coming again because it was just striking my head. So there are hard topics that candidates at times hesitate to bring forward, right? For example, let's talk about diversity. How diverse is your team, right? And if the organization, i.e., the recruiter and the hiring manager, would be bold to take these topics up front, it will strike a great conversation, and it will really appear where the organization and where the candidate thinks. So you got to bring those up for the candidate to be feel comfortable to ask those questions. So that's the other thing I was thinking about.
Spot on, spot on. Thank you very much. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the screening, okay, the phone calls. Then there is the frog, okay? There is the assignment. Now, I think that now, not saying a specific assignment here, but we will get to discuss assignment in just a few, okay? Until we will discuss a specific assignment, this assignment term is too vague, okay? Because assignment or project can be very respectful to both sides, to both parties, and something that is not over consuming and won't take too much of the other person's time. And it can be interesting, okay? It definitely can be not interesting, okay? Definitely. And also, it's about the subject, okay, that we're asking the candidate to work on. Is it the company or something else there, so they won't feel that they're doing their job without being paid, right? Is it something that is fun or not? So let's talk about it for just a little bit. What do you think about this request of candidates to come to the office or spend it online 4 to 5 hours. Let's say that this is somewhat of a work day, right? 4 to 5 hours. It means that they won't get to do a lot of their work on that time if they're already working, and looking for another place, or they have other things that they want to do. So, what do we think about this request?
Awesome. So, um, first of all, I'm gonna share my opinion on assignments. I really don't really like them, to be honest. I usually do not send them to candidates. I don't expect them, to fill into specific assignments even before, after the hiring manager and reaching out to the team. It's time consuming for them. At the same time, it is for us, a lot to prepare that. And I kind of feel that the other part that we are evaluating here, that is the 4 or 5 hours in the office, and we have here an and. For me, it's more like an or 3 to 6 one-on-one interviews with potential colleagues. I think that's like it's one or the other, and it's more than enough. I would personally prefer, as a hiring manager, knowing that my team is kind of working, and other stuff, at the same time knowing that we're not interviewing one candidate, we're receiving thousands of applications, right? That we need to screen and we need to scale the hiring process to kind of do 3 to 6 interviews remotely, and then like it's kind of like a negotiation with the candidate if he can do it, all the same day, if the team can do it all the same day, and if not, like space it in a short time frame, like for example in a week. So that's my opinion on this.
I love it. Thank you, Martin. Guys,
I can go next.
jump right in.
Okay, yeah. So if you really look at 4 to 5 hours, it's a heavy investment end of the day, and which means it's a heavy investment both from the candidate and the hiring team perspective. Um, Now that means it's really up to us how we make the most of those 5 hours. And again, I'll go back to quality is how do we drive these now, whether an assignment is given home or in person, it's really up to us how we can drive the most out of it. Um, in my personal opinion, I am also like Martin is. I am not a pro for home assignments. I just feel that you get a book written back, which is not what you're trying to assess as a product manager. Uh, while at the same time, an in-person assignment can be helpful to build a collaborative, uh, environment and figure out how does the product manager work in an environment where you're having conversations, you're trying to drive a solution. It's not that we are chasing the candidate to deliver on a assignment, but it's about how we work together. And when we talk about 5 interviews, I think it's really the idea is to dive deep into the candidate's experience and assess the skills. And in my perspective, that is important. You'd rather do a dive deep and a great hire than not be happy later. And this is again both ways. Like every time I'll say something is going to be both ways. Like the candidate also wants to be sure that I've gone through 5 hours. Is this a company for me or not? Is this a team for me or not? So likewise, the hiring manager is also thinking the same way. So in short, I believe quality is essence to these 5 hours of interviews.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to ask everyone who's watching us right now, tell us, what do you think? We here think that 4 to 5 hours, this is a heavy investment on both parties, right? Either for the company or for the candidate. Let us know, what do you think, either as candidates or hiring managers? Do you see this as a toll on your end to invest so much time in a project, okay, or the presentation even of the assignment, and then also about the 3 to 6 interviews? Okay, so let us know, what do you think? Is this too much for you? Is it exactly what you want, or actually you want more? Let us know in the comment section wherever it is that you watch us right now. And it's also a good time to ask you guys, either if you watch us on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, show us some product love, and please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Let us know that you like the experiences and the knowledge that we share with you right now, and you will be notified when we will have another session just like this in the future. So please go ahead, like this video, and also hit the subscribe button. Now, Amit, let me know, What do you think about this strong no, no, yes, or strong yes way of segmenting or choosing candidates, evaluating maybe?
I think just wanted to add a quick point before jumping there on previously on point number three. I think I kind of am on a similar page like where Webber and Martin are, and why I like to sort of believe that uh, I would rather want to sort of do a in-person, hands-on problem solving or product thinking with the candidates, because I would rather want to simulate how I would be working with the candidate in person rather than just giving him a task and expecting him to sort of like I think Vaibhav said, expecting a book out of it, right? So for me, a good way to gauge uh, something out of a candidate and how he thinks on the fly is kind of being hands on with him and or her, and just making sure that I'm actually seeing how that person is able to think on the fly, and what is he able to come up with, and where does he stop, where does he pause, how deep does he go, and all of that kind of helps me gauge. So yeah, that's one. Now jumping back to a strong no, no, yes, and strong yes. I think it's very essential when a candidate goes under like 5, 6 interviews, and there are people who have difference of opinion. How I kind of go about looking at wherever he's weak, I would definitely look at which stakeholder has given that strong no, or probably maybe sort of a thing, right? And if this is there a scope of probably sort of making sure that can we talk to this candidate again, really depends on what area we're talking about. If it's in the areas of product thinking and problem solving, or something which is core to product management, I would really hesitate. If it's something to do with what stakeholders think of it, right? I would rather sort of normally give him a chance, maybe make that person speak to a couple of more people rather than directly speaking to them, and making sure that I have like a second opinion if everything else is kind of tick on the box. So that's how I kind of think about. I would definitely go back and see if there are like 5 yeses and one maybe or one no. I would still sort of go back and want to make sure that we're at least taking one more shot at sort of deciding before deciding it. So yeah, that's how I think.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ami. Martin, what do you think about this way to evaluate candidates? Just so everyone understand what we're talking about, this is what I think is a great way to evaluate candidate, but you don't have to agree with me here. It's part of the fun not to agree with me here. Okay, it's about segmenting the candidates into groups. Okay, of either strong no, where we say we don't want this person to work with us, no, yes, or strong yes. Strong yes means I want this person on my team, doesn't matter what. I can
Yeah.
hear myself twice. I can hear some echo. Is it just me?
I'm hearing you well.
You
Just
hear me? Okay, so it's just me. Okay, I will ignore the echo here. Okay, so this is what we're talking about when we are referring to no, strong no, no, yes, or strong yes. Martin, what do you think about this way to evaluate candidates within a group of interviewers?
Yeah, no, honestly, like for me, it's perfect. This kind of decisions should be binary in my perspective. Yes or no. I think that the strong yes or no actually helps. To even when you have a panel behind or you have a team behind, to make a decision. Between one and another candidate, but there shouldn't be nothing in the middle. So I kind of agree with us this way to evaluate the candidates with strong no, no, yes, and strong yes.
Thank you, Martin. And Vaibhav, is there anything that you think that we need to do before we are making a decision, except for reference checks and stuff like that?
I actually have an opinion on on point number 4.
Bring it on.
And one, I don't know why would we do blind votes. Like end of the day, we are a group who is hiring a candidate for our team, so I might as well bring the opinion out. And we are mature and uh, enough to have a conversation on why we say no, why we say yes. That's one. So I'm not in favor of blind votes. It should be upfront, and we should have a mature conversation. The second aspect, the observation I have is like we can say strong no, no, yes, a strong yes, which I think is makes sense. There's nothing in between. Like, why leave it to good intentions? We rather take a decision. But the last option that you want to add here is perhaps, and that's where you start thinking about the organization, not your team, beyond your team. Is this candidate fit for another team? Maybe not yours. So
Interesting.
Yep.
So we need to probably think beyond just our team and we think about the larger organization. And that's where we bring in the fifth vote, which is okay, maybe it's for another team, not for us. So that the candidate is not lost for the organization if the candidate is really good and fit for another role. So
I
that's
love this tip.
two things I would like to add here.
I love this tip. What you're saying is this person is a good candidate or a good team member for the company. Okay,
Yes.
so on the company aspect, okay, culture, motivation, stuff like that, this person may be a great candidate. It's just that they're not a great fit for this position.
Yeah.
Why should both they and us lose the opportunity to work together? Okay, so
Absolutely.
let's have another bucket, okay, and keep in touch with them in case something else is coming up. And actually, this is a great tip for all hiring managers out there. I
Yeah.
love this one. Yeah, I love this one. Thank you, guys. And we have Macho here in the audience saying, completely agree with all of you. Home assignments are not that accurate and real, especially because you need to observe the actual thinking process of the candidate and steps she or he makes, etc. I love that. Thank you very much. Burhan here saying interviews can go long based on the type of conversation and interests of both parties. That's correct, because if we can create this connection that we would like, by the way, to create with the people that we are looking to hire for our team, okay, we can go way beyond the 30 minutes, just like you said, Martin. Yeah, you sometimes find yourself in a great conversation with someone and you don't want to have it stop. So lovely, lovely. Thank you very much. And we are now moving on to review actual questions that are asked on interviews. Okay, it's part of the process. And we have it right here. So the first question that we're going to discuss has to do with general background product interview questions and is, why should we hire you? Okay, this is the most common one, I think. Let me know, what do you think about this one?
Um, if no,
Go
I'll
ahead.
start if nobody's going. uh, so this as small as this question is, really the way I would look at assessing this question is basically three ways. One, why is the candidate really interested in me? Like, why does this role or this organization excite the candidate? Second, uh, what does the candidate bring to the table? So first is me, that is the organization. Second is you, and then the third aspect is how do both of us look together, and how does the marriage look together for the candidate and the organization? And that's how, if I'm assessing, that's how I would look at this question, and I'm hoping that the candidate covers these three perspectives to wrap up the whole response.
That's good. Thank you, Vaibhav. Martin and Amit.
Yeah. So I personally don't like that question. I usually do not ask it. I kind of feel that the response to that question, you can actually have it from framing it in another way too. Like, um, I could ask something related to a product and kind of measure on the candidate, how passionate, he is about, solving problems, etc. And I feel that basically, that will help to answer that why should we hire you in another way more related to what we're really looking for. So for me, like personally, I wouldn't prioritize that question, and I kind of feel that I'm going to have a response on that based on other more specific oriented strategic questions to the candidate.
Thank you very much, Martin. And Amit, what do you think? It's a little bit of a
I,
juicy one.
I think I can kind of agree. I kind of agree with Martin on this. I think when you ask this question to candidate, you kind of already are putting him on the back foot, and kind of really questioning the whole purpose of, hey, you know what, you have to first justify me by telling me that why should I hire you, and I think the whole point of this person getting interviewed with you is that he is interested in kind of working with you, right? So kind of should be an outcome, uh, kind of should be asked in a different way than this one, wherein it kind of naturally comes out, and wherein like I think Weber was earlier mentioning that there are ways to figure out or gauge that what does the candidate kind of bring to the table, and I think that kind of should intuitively answer that why should you really hire, rather than just specifically asking. I also kind of personally do not like this question being specifically asked, so yeah.
I'll tell you what. It's not only that I don't like generic questions. I think that we're kind of like missing the mark here with this question. And I'll tell you a secret. When I'm interviewing, I'm actually asking the candidate, why shouldn't we hire you? And then they're like shocked. They're wearing this like face of, oh my God, I cannot believe she just asked me that. And to calm them down a little bit, I'm telling them, okay, and before you do so, okay, I will share with you why I think for some people it won't be good to work here. And then I tell them, the different circumstances at the company that may not fit everyone and anyone. Okay, like taking down the pressure. Okay, saying that it's good to acknowledge the situation and know that there is no one size fits all when it comes to finding the right candidates for companies. And then I ask them again, so why shouldn't we hire you? And actually you can learn so much about that person from that question, and not from this, I think, too generic question, okay, of why should we hire you. So this is a little tip for everyone in the audience who is bold enough to change the rules of the game. And we are moving on to the next question. And the next question is about skills and experiences, okay? How do you plan releases? What development methodology does your company follow? And as we are short in time and we have so many questions and things to go through, each one of you is going to answer one of the questions that is going to be listed, and then we're moving on. So who wants to answer this one? What do you think about this question? I think all of you think that this is just a boring one.
I will go with Amit's statement, ditch the frameworks.
Yeah, to be honest, like how do you plan releases? What development methodology does your company follow? Yeah, I don't know. Like if I have extra time, maybe I'll do it. On the other side, tell us about a product you love and why. That's a tough one, and that one I love it. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite questions actually to ask.
And for a good reason. For a very good reason. Amit, Vaibhav, one of you, what do you think about this question? Because we already know that Martin likes it.
Well, well,
Yeah, I think sorry, go on, Weber.
no, Amit, go ahead. I thought the question was addressed to me, but you can answer.
It
No, I think
was assigned to everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
it's also one of my favorite questions I normally sort of ask, or sort of I want to hear from candidates. It kind of also tells me a lot about not only kind of how they think, how they operate, what kind of products do they use, what are the choices that they make. Once like I kind of get to know the kind of product that they love to use. The second bit of it, when they start talking about improvements, starts really telling me about, you know, are they really jumping into the how part of it, or are they really thinking of it from the consumer point of view, right? Are they really thinking of it from just their point of view? Are they really thinking about, hey, what about a certain set of cohort of customers, right? Or, what about a certain country altogether? What about a certain geography altogether, right? So that really sort of gives me an idea about, how zoomed in or zoomed out are they when they're thinking about improvements, or sort of starting to add, certain features or enhancements to a certain product. Gives me a lot of insights. Like one of my favorite questions to ask. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you very much. And we're moving on to the next question. Who should you say our top competitors? Okay, competitors. So it's not just about market research and being ready. It's also about somewhat of creative thinking. Okay, when it comes to competitors and alternatives in the market and stuff like that. Vaibhav, now you won't get away from it. What do you think about this question?
I think so. Let's understand the intent of this question. The intent is not to get a list of competitors. Let's be honest. If somebody gives that, then you already lost your opportunity to give a great response to it. The intent really here is that uh, how aware you are you able to analyze or are you able to differentiate why somebody has a better feature or capability versus the other, and are they solving a problem statement that is similar or in different ways? So it's really about how deep you can dive into the product, into the customer you're focusing, or who are you building products for. So it's about that. It's not about the list of competitors. So, like you can go on for next 20 minutes just answering that one question.
Absolutely. It reminds me, somewhat reminds me of the crack the case, like interview questions that, after MBA, everyone has to go through. Okay, like, okay, so you have like very simple, straightforward, you think, question, but actually, it's just the beginning of a long, long discussion when you're trying to understand where this company is positioned in the market. So I love your comment here. Thank you very much.
And the reality is that all the public sources that you go and read will will not give you that. I don't see them giving the intent behind the question, and that's where candidates are struggling to understand what do I answer here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. It's not about the list of companies. I
yeah.
love this one. Thank you. And now it's about leadership skills. Tell me about a time when something went wrong at work and you took control. Jump right in, guys. Tell me what you
Yeah.
think. Tell us
So
what you think. Everyone.
when something went wrong at work and you took control, well, yeah, it's definitely evaluating leadership skills. I wouldn't maybe ask that questions as it is, but I think it's pretty. It will give us a good understanding of like a scenario where he needed to kind of step up or understand a little bit and evaluate, yeah, the I versus the we. How much ownership he took. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad question, to be honest. Um, yeah.
Out of curiosity, how would you ask this question?
Yeah, I personally will ask something more um, between leadership and behavioral. Like maybe how he solved a conflict. Like inside like when or he had a different opinion. And that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I would kind of mix it with some behavioral with leadership in that question.
You know what I love about your comment? What you're actually saying, and I love it. It's that leadership is about problem solving within the team. It's not about taking control. And you are
Yeah.
mute. I'm mute, Joseph Martin. We're missing you
Uh,
here. Yeah, this is
yeah, I think
great. Yeah,
just to add to what
yeah. Go ahead,
Martin's
Amit.
point, I think what I would probably like to just change here is one add a behavioral sort of a situation, and I would really want to just chop off the second bit where it says you take control. I would rather want to sort of hear from the candidate about there was a situation, something went wrong. What did he do? I probably want to start from there and want to know, did he step up? I would rather want to know from him that, how did he navigate? Did he delegate? Did he step up? Did he give control to someone else? How did he eventually solve the problem, right? And I think solving a problem would not always mean that you really just always step up. It could also be that you, I mean, really depends on the kind of situation, right? If it's something to do with uh, the stake, you helping out a stakeholder, you would really want to let the other person step up and you just support them, right? If it's something to do with you stepping up, you just rather step up. So very, very situational, but then I would rather want to hear from the candidate what he did and then how did he eventually fix the situation rather than just kind of asking him that question, like selectively.
Perfect. I'm loving it. And we are moving on to what I think everyone was waiting for. Okay. And this is the home assignment. We're going to look at this home assignment. Don't worry if you can't see a lot because we're going to read it out loud. Okay. So basically, what is written here, you have started as the first PM at, I just marked out the name of a company, a B2B SaaS company focusing on employee training. You have 3 developers. The company is in growth mode. The vision is listed here, and the company objectives for the next year are listed below. And here are 12 feature requests. Please review the list, create a roadmap for the next quarter. Okay, be ready to discuss and explain your consideration and outcome. And make sure you're not giving too much time. This should not take more than a couple of hours. Okay, so this is the assignment. I'm going to zoom in just a second. Before we will do that, this real home assignment, I found it on the internet, in one of the forums, okay, of product management out there. As someone listed it as, I cannot believe it, I just received it for the fourth time in this time of life, when I'm from searching for my next career, in my next role in product management. Okay, so this person was only looking for a new role for, like, I don't know, a few weeks. 4 companies handed him this exact assignment. I think this says a lot, okay, and not good things. And now I'm going to zoom in, and you guys will tell me, what do you think about this assignment?
I will keep it simple. For me, it's a big no. Do not send home assignments. So I don't know. I can talk from both perspectives, as a candidate, as a hiring manager. As a candidate, I would say, like, and interviewing so many people, um, it actually leaves a very bad taste in the process. Through the candidates, and it actually generates a very bad feeling to the company. People kind of read this in different ways. They're sending me assignments because they want us to solve their problems, for free or something like that. I've heard that from candidates so many times. And then on the hiring manager part, honestly, like, I don't feel that this actually is gonna help me, or it's gonna add value to my decision making, or the team, or the panel. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Amit and Vaibhav.
I think I would
Yeah.
plus one to what Martin said. I would definitely, if I'm interviewing a PM who's already sort of busy in his own chaos through the week, and if I send him something like this, I am pretty sure at least 90% of good candidates would not even respond, and they would just drop off. I would rather want to sort of ask him something like this, probably in verbally, or an interview physically in person, or probably if I really have to ask or get something out of it, I would rather just ask him either on a phone call or a video call, or probably something in person. I would really not send him something like this in person. Uh, I don't understand why people do it, but then if we have to sort of gauge it, uh, I would rather want to just gauge his thought process by just talking to him. And I think all of these are very, very situational. So for me also, it's a sick no.
Yep, it's a big no. And I do want to emphasize that even though we all don't like this assignment, there is also like, a sub aspect to it, of the way you do it. Because if it's about the company or the domain, in a way that it's so clear that you're about to plan out a roadmap, or even prioritize some requests from the customers, this is just the wrong way to do things. Okay, but
Yeah.
if you really want to test the way the candidate thinks, so go ahead and play with it a little. I don't know, make it about an app for dogs, if assuming that you're not in the pets industry. Okay, so do something that is like really fun, super super noticeable, that you are not going to gain value, actual value out of it, besides getting to know the candidate, which is the reason why we gathered here. So I love that. And Vaibhav, get ready, because we're just about to share another assignment, and I can't wait to hear what you have to share. Here it is. Okay, where it is? This is not, here it is. This is it. No. Okay, why is it playing hard with me? You can't see it. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, I'm zooming in. Okay,
Yeah.
The purpose of this assignment is to enable you, the candidate, to demonstrate your product skills and to get a small taste of our day-to-day challenges. This is not bad, actually. This is nice, but this is too long. Okay. And this is about a real estate sales process, okay, company. And they share a little bit about the process and then they share the following questions. What data would you look at to develop solution for the tour conversion challenge? What are the epics, user stories, enhancements, improvements you would suggest, including OKRs, by the way, which is big. Okay, that's a lot to do. How will you prioritize them if relevant? Any wireframe visual? Okay. What will be your high level plan for implementing this suggestion to the company? After analyzing all the data, okay, you came to the conclusion of whatever is not realistic, what will be your next step? And our salespeople came to the conclusion that there is a need to start selling apartments. This is, the case here. In a specific condition, what will be your approach to building such a process? Okay, so it's not only about that anymore. They are just adding and adding more and more and more. That's a lot.
Okay. So
Okay.
let me answer that. Let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give a point of view in two parts. So uh, let's forget it's home assignment because we already aligned that it is home is does not make sense. I mean, it just doesn't sound like right. It's you would rather do it together, right? So forgetting the way it is done. I think, and this is better than the first one you showed me, by the way. The first one was actually prescribing features. Like, why would you
Yep.
do that? Let them think through and give an open slate for the product manager to imagine what they would want to build, right? So this one seems better than that one. But couple of things that I would add here. One, I think these assignments or so your discussion should be lightweight. This is not at all lightweight. It's going to take me 15-20 minutes to understand what they're asking if I have to read every line item here, and then I have to build. If I think from a candidate, not customer. I mean, candidate is my customer, by the way. From a candidate
You're
standpoint,
very right.
I can really empathize what will be happening there. You have to build assumptions, you have to collect data. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you do that. The other thing that I see missing in both the assignments is we are nowhere testing or trying to analyze the candidate's ability to think long term. We are putting candidates into a situation where they're building roadmaps for next quarter. But what about 2 years from now? So we are not testing strategic long-term thinking. We are not testing candidates for their ability to think beyond just today, this financial year. And that's where you need to leave the exercise lightweight to let the candidate imagine and even come up with moonshot ideas, right? And let's justify them. The key is how do we assess customer backwards. That's the bottom line of any uh, product sense. So you say a product design interview or on an assignment, which I think both these assignments don't do that justice. They both are quite bookish, so you say, in short,
And big.
and big, obviously.
And big. We should say that. We should say that. Okay, thank you, Vaibhav. And you know what, guys? I want to challenge you a little bit. I want to challenge us a little bit. Are you up for a challenge?
Bring it on.
Good.
Shoot.
This is the spirit. Okay, so just before we had the 10 commandments, okay, of interviewing, I don't know if it's going to be a list of 10, but let's have a few commitments when it comes to assignments. Now, hold it on. I know, Martin, that your commandment is going to be to have no assignment or project. I can see it already. But we're going to challenge you a little bit here. So, in case that you have to have an assignment for whatever reason, because we're not going to change the world, but we are going to make it a better place, okay? In case that's going to happen, how can hiring managers or what can hiring managers and team leaders out there, product leaders, follow as guidelines when they are going to hand candidates assignments? And again, it's a great idea to skip this step, okay, and to have a discussion and to have something at the office or on Zoom online, okay, with the candidate. But in case you cannot, here are our tips, these great mentors tips on how to do it the right way. Okay, so first I will share mine is don't ever do it about the company. Okay, don't make anyone feel like they work for you for free for nothing. It's just bad practice, and what goes around comes around. Always remember that. So this is one commandment. Amit, Martin, Vaibhav, what do you think that we need to follow when we are creating assignments?
Can I go first?
Yes.
Yeah, I think mine is gonna be kind of in conjunction with my earlier commandment around the PMs being comfortable with ambiguity. When I give a assignment to a PM, I would rather just want to keep it a one-liner or maximum two-liner, so that I just give him a problem statement and just stop there, And I would really, really want to just hear from him right from the time when he really just gets one liner. How does he start thinking? Where does he start from? How does he really evolve that problem into his thinking process? How does he break down that problem? Like I think Baba was earlier mentioning, does he really think about 3 months, or does he really think about 2 years from now and all of that, right? So I would really give him a one liner. And what it also does is that it doesn't really bother him much in terms of reading and going through like 10 items that he has to really answer, right? I would rather give him one line and just really want to hear from him, right? So that's one thing I think of. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. Martin and Amit?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Moria. Like, not related to the company. First of all, definitely. Um, I think that it will be interesting if I send an assignment, to try to capture some of the stuff that I know I'm not gonna have time to follow up, during my interview with that person. So there were like some points mentioned about the short vision, the long vision. So it's difficult to capture everything in a design exercise, because basically here what we're doing is something we could do online with the person, but maybe we don't have enough time in 45 minutes to evaluate everything. So yeah, maybe I would focus a little bit on see how you structure your thoughts in the exercise. You walk me through, and then I can ask more senior questions, or depending the position, to what I'm actually looking for. So in that case, I would say that this is not framed like horrible, right? I kind of can see myself using this, but yeah, a lot of it definitely I would like to see how the candidate reacts on a specific, very ambiguous question situation during the interview.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amit?
I think Amit did answer. I'll
Yeah,
come.
I think it.
It
Yeah,
was it was
if it's
listen it
kind of.
was engaging and listening.
Yeah. So I think if I were to do this, I would really focus on, and I think this is going to be an answer throughout the webinar today. How does the candidate focus on customer backwards? Like really start from there. I really want to see that in whatever conversations I have across the process of interviews or even the assignment. And the second is, if I were to send an assignment, I would really focus on some moonshot idea, which really kind of tickles your imagination, and it kind of brings you to think big and think beyond the normal. Uh, so that it becomes exciting and interesting for the person who's writing the assignment as well. And then we are also able to see how does the candidate think of beyond the norm that you see every day.
Absolutely. And we have Martin, our own leaguer, here says, what do you think of simulations? Give a problem, a little background, and a number of virtual colleagues to a case I want to discuss. And then you see how the candidate starts digging into it. Just like a normal day at the office, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Actually, that aligns pretty well, I think, with the intent overall, what we have been sharing. And yeah, see how he behaves, see what's his product sense. There's a lot of chances there, to kind of evaluate a lot of the things we're looking for. So I think Martin, that's first of all, your name is amazing. Second, like I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely. And we have Marta, also a leaguer. I mean, see, here says, I have a thesis. The strength of of a team comes from the diversity of perspectives they bring to the table. How do you make sure you hire people from diverse backgrounds? Does it help you to build better products? We all know there's a yes. Yeah, definitely yes. Yeah, more diverse team and diverse team, and um, different backgrounds absolutely help. To the team to think in a creative way. How do we make sure though that we do bring diverse perspectives to the table? How we bring it into the hiring process? That's an interesting question. Thank you very much, Marta.
Yeah.
I think the two parts. One, the process that organization outlines to make sure that we embed and embrace diversity, and that's a larger topic. But at the same time, what we have in control is make sure that we don't have subconscious bias, and subconscious bias is something that we can definitely act on, and that's where you ensure that you hire diverse backgrounds. It's really on the candidate and not the background. If you focus on the candidate and eliminate subconscious bias, I think these things automatically start getting better, and that's what I focus on.
I love it. Thank you very much. As this is a very important question, I wonder, Amit and Martin, what do you have to share?
Yeah, no, totally. I 100% believe on this. So it depends, like the how do you say the industry you work for too. Like the type of product you work for too. So diversity is all a product, and like having different kind of opinions, perspective, like trying to reduce or not eliminate because it's tough, like the bias of people making decisions, etc., and hearing and challenging. So yeah, product management is all about diversity. So yeah, I feel it's like a pillar of like the hiring process.
Yeah, and I think it's also about, framing it in our head that it's actually an advantage for the team. Different backgrounds, different perspectives, different cultures, different languages. Like you can't go wrong when you have people with different skills on the team, and different perspectives. Absolutely a win. Amit, what do you have to share with Marta?
I think Marta already has uh, partially answered the question in the first statement that she's made. That uh, it's right there, right? And I think I agree with both Weber and Martin's point of view, and that it is essential for sort of keeping in mind that you're hiring from diverse backgrounds. But then I think it should, like I think Weber said, naturally emerge. That should kind of be consciously there. But then the pool that you're sort of picking up from, right? And that's something for the recruiters to sort of figure out that when you are looking at the pool, that pool should sort of be breadth rich. When I say breadth rich, it should basically have candidates from pretty much all diversities, and then it's again something that is for the hiring managers to sort of just figure out and hire people. I think there it should be unbiased, but then again, making sure that the pool that you're picking up the candidates from is kind of rich and uh, sort of has pretty people pretty much from everywhere is something that should take care of the diversity piece. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I had the best time reviewing with you. How was it for you guys? Mentors.
Great.
I had a great time
Awesome.
chatting with all of you guys.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
don't
like
need
very.
I don't need any more caffeine for the day.
Yeah, it's gratifying to see like how we share very similar opinions between us all, and that's kind of impressive. Like this moves very fast. I know there was like some question there from Marta too related to um, the the type of position we were hiring. So there's a lot of factors that we don't have the time here to discuss, right? Like
Yet,
product
because another one is
managers.
coming.
Yeah.
Another session. Yeah.
Product managers like are in high demand, right? So you need to have the context too when you are preparing this kind of like hiring processes, because sometimes you need to move faster. Sometimes you have more time. So it depends on the circumstances too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From Toronto, Canada, this was Vaibhav Pruthi, Principal Product Manager at Amazon and Product League Mentor. From Bangalore, India, Amit Pandita, Associate Director at CoinSwitch and Product League Mentor. And from San Francisco, United States, Martín Lasarga de Maria, Group Product Manager at PostClick and Product League Mentor. I am Maria Cassis. This is Product League, this great, amazing, dedicated mentors that bring their knowledge and experience to each of these sessions with them. This is Product League. I can't wait to support everyone in the audience on becoming the best product manager you can be. Can't wait to have you again on this stage here, guys. I'm looking forward to having you here again, and I'm looking forward to meet everyone in the audience again at our next review session. Please go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us wherever it is that you watch us right now. I had the best time. Thank you, guys, Martín, Vaibhav, and Amit. And until then, go lig it up. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good time, guys. Bye bye.